everybody. I'm Roman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of StackOne. I have 7 minutes, so I'm going to go quickly through the demo, and I'll get them started in a second. Just to let you know a little bit about StackOne, we're a 3-year-old company. We are building integration infrastructure for AI agents. We're backed by Google Ventures and Workday Ventures. We've raised a Series A last year, 24 million in total. We are hiring in case any of you guys are currently looking for a job, based in SF in London. And I'll come back to this slide in a second. I'll just jump straight into the demos. I don't have that many slides. I just want to talk to you a bit about what we do in practical terms. I'm going to show you 2 demos that demonstrate 2 different parts of our platform. The first one is our connector builder. So how many of you have used MCPs that are broken or don't have certain actions, or just you wanted to connect it to your agent to an MCP? Just raise your hand. Yeah, that didn't exist. Okay, so one of the problems that we're trying to solve is how do we equip you to vibe code very good connector, agent optimized connectors. And the second one is we are releasing a new platform called Discode, and it allows you to give your agent an extra functionality, which is to write a script on top of your MCPs so that it can do that, it can interact with tools more efficiently. So we're essentially not the place where you build the agent. We're not a harness. We're not a place where you would build your agent. We're optimizing the tools layer for your agent. So I'm going to switch to Claude Code. I have 2 demos that I'm going to run in parallel. So this one is on our connectors repo. So this is something you could have access to yourself as well as part of our platform. I'm just going to ask Claude to build a new action in my StackOne connectors. So you can use the StackOne CLI to interact with your StackOne platform, the integration platform. And I just asked it to build a new action in the Salesforce connector that's chaining multiple API calls together so that my agent doesn't have to chain those API calls itself. I don't really care what it does. I just said pick any that you like, and then push it to my demo app profile using the StackOne CLI. So that's all I asked it to do, and I'll let it work in the background. Ooh, don't know what happened there. And then in the second demo, I'm going to show you Discode. So Discode is a tool that allows you to run some of those more complex queries. If you remember the chart from the Chroma presentation, that typically agents are not very good at doing complex queries over a lot of data. And in this case, this is something that literally I think could be relatable to some of you, but I am asking it to find all open high priority bugs in a specific Jira project and group it by product components and then join it with my Salesforce data so I can get the revenue data from Salesforce. And this is just typically something that if you just gave it to Claude, it would really struggle to do that, or Claude or any agent harness would really struggle to do this because there's joining of data to do. There's a lot of data that would come into the context and bloat it. I'm asking it to do 2 sub-agents here. In the background, I've got individual MCPs that are given to the agent, so it would have to do this within the context window so you can see the difference. And the other sub-agent is just given that Discode MCP, which is essentially that toolbox which allows the agent to execute the code on top of it. And I'm asking it to then compare the traces to look at token consumption, look at accuracy, efficiency, speed. So hopefully this demonstrates a bit more how we work. And in the meantime, while this is working, I'll kind of tell you a bit more about our platform. So StackOne has 3 different components to its platform. So when you're using it, typically our customers will be building agents already, and they're coming to a point where they struggle to connect those agents to tools reliably. Like maybe you connected it to an off-the-shelf MCP and it doesn't work, or it's missing a tool, or the accuracy is not good enough and it's unreliable 50% of the time. So out of the box, we have, it's actually now 17,000 actions. I haven't updated this slide, but it's over 17,000 actions that have been pre-built for you, and they're all QA'd, they're all optimized. We do both technical QA and behavioral QA on all the actions, and a connector builder, which is what I'm demoing in the background. We also give your agents additional infrastructure so that it can interact with tools much better. Instead of just calling an MCP, which is kind of like the basic thing that you would do at the beginning, as you scale your use cases, you might want to have like a data sync that actually syncs data into a database so your agent can do filtering and sorting and so on. You might want to just rag over a specific object in your CRM, like the contracts or notes, for example, and you don't want to have to build a whole rag pipeline for this. So StackOne can just abstract that for you, and in one click you can set it up, and then code mode, which I'm demoing as well. And then the final point, which I'm not going to show in too much detail, is security, and we have built the leading package for indirect prompt injection defense. So if you have agents that are exposed to user data, this is something that you need to look out for as well. Okay, so going back to the action on Salesforce, it's currently building it, and it's using a StackOne CLI skill, which will allow it to interact with the StackOne dashboard. And in the background, I've got my 2 agents running. One of them is using the direct MCPs, so it's going to be basically querying these MCPs one by one. It's already done 14 tool uses, and it's using 78,000 tokens. We're going to get a more detailed analysis in a second, but you can already tell that it's less efficient. And the second one has done 12 tool uses on this code and has used 54,000 tokens so far. So we'll come back to this in a second. And looking at the platform itself, here, you can look at the Salesforce connector. Oh, I'm probably logged out. Yep, typical rookie mistake. All right. This is the least fun part, I promise. Okay, going back here, I'm going to look at the connector, and you'll see that once the action completes, so this one here, I'll come back to it when it's done. It's creating a new action called Get Opportunity Enriched, and before it finishes, I'm going to show you that it doesn't exist. So if I search for an action on Salesforce right now, on that Salesforce connector, nothing comes back. There's no action that's Get Opportunity Enriched. So I'll come back here in a second. And we'll go back to the Discode versus traditional MCP comparison. And here you can see that the difference is pretty strong. So the agent that was querying the Salesforce MCP and the Jira MCP separately has used 84,000 tokens. Here we've reduced the token usage by about 32%. It's actually massively underestimating the actual token savings because I have a massive system prompt in my Claude that's using a lot of that token, so the actual token saving is bigger. It's done fewer tool calls. It's a little bit shorter, but to be honest with you, code mode is not meant to be faster. In this case, it's kind of accidental that it is faster. It's found all the issues, and this is actually really interesting. I've run this flow a couple times earlier, and this comes back pretty often. You can see here that the agent failed to paginate the Salesforce MCP, whereas on this code, it was able to identify that there's multiple pages and to paginate through it much more easily. So what that means is that when you give your agents better ways to interact with MCPs, you can get to more accurate results. And this is really crucial as you're throwing more and more complex queries to your agents, is to have this, the tools that it needs to actually interact with the underlying systems. So the data is more complete. It has come to correct conclusions. Here, I think it says that the base agent, like agent A, has come to the right conclusion because it probably found the right bugs, but actually it didn't find probably the right dollar value in comparison. So that's an example of where Discode can be useful. If you're interested in this, I'll come back to the other demo in a second. You can go to discode.stackone.com. There'll be a QR code at the end. It's free to use, and you can just plug in your MCPs or use your StackOne MCPs if you're using StackOne already. And then the second demo, we've got a new action that's been created by my StackOne connector builder, Get Opportunity Enriched. It has pushed it to my StackOne environment. So if I refresh this, go to Enriched. Of course, it doesn't show up. Oop. Interesting. Well, this is, I don't know why it didn't push it. It should, in theory, have donate. Once you see it in here, you can then immediately use that connector and query it. So as soon as it's been pushed to StackOne, you can use it in your MCPs. I do it all the time if I need a new action on like Notion or my CRM or something like that. I can just push a new update to the schema of the action. It's very powerful. It's all validated before it gets pushed to StackOne, so it doesn't break. At least it validates before it gets pushed, and then you can use it directly. I'll come back to it if it pushes again afterwards during the questions. But if you're interested, so if you're building agents, there's 3 QR codes here. The first one is for the main StackOne platform. So if you're just using Claude or like any agent harness you're building, some of our customers are like Synthesia, Drata, Lattice. You could be a B2B building agents for your customers, or you could be just using agents yourself. StackOne's going to be the platform for you. If you want to run more complex queries and you want to test code mode, go to discode.stackone.com. It's a separate platform because we allow you to connect actually any MCP. You don't have to use our connectors. We allow you to use the code mode on top of any MCP. And then finally, this is a little bit out of left field, but if you like running, like literally physically running, and you're coming to SaaStr or LangChain Interrupt next week, we're doing a 5K run on I believe it's the Wednesday morning in San Francisco. So feel free to join us. You're going to get cool t-shirts. That's the incentive there for the last QR code. And that is it. Thank you.
Many thanks, Romain. We have time for 2 questions. So anyone in the audience who wants to go first? There we go.
I'm going to try and repush it in the background as well.
Hey, great presentation. I was just curious if you had any examples of comparing standard MCP versus running the MCP through your tool, and what's the difference in consistency, like how, it's because it's this variable thing of does the agent call the tool correctly?
Yeah.
So do you have any benchmarks or anything around that?
Yeah, literally we're running this week. So we're going to publish them on our website under stackone.com/benchmarks. We don't have them yet. The way we're approaching this is that we're comparing a few different alternatives, I guess. One is the official MCP. So GitHub, Jira, HubSpot, Linear, all of them have their own official MCPs. Some of them are very good. And to be honest, just if you're comparing MCP to MCP, we may or may not be the best one. That's not really the point. The point is that you get the additional infra on top of it as well, and that shoots up. But you could use that infra on top of the original MCP. The only thing is that you don't get the customizability. And that's really one of the problems that we're solving with the fact that we're giving you those like actions that you can completely customize, is that our clients, like literally one of our clients is building a customer support agent, and could they be using the Zendesk MCP? Yes, but actually what they want is really guardrailed actions where they only restrict the agent to fill certain parameters in certain fields. They want to chain multiple API calls, et cetera, and be more efficient. So that control ultimately leads to higher efficiency as well as higher accuracy. It doesn't mean that out of the box we're going to necessarily be better, but for certain use cases, the infrastructure plus the customizability gives you that higher performance.
Awesome.
And we will have benchmarks too, but that's a really good question.
Great, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have one more question for Romain?
Oh. Does not push. I don't know why.
Guess there's one hand. There we go.
Oh, I know why.
So hang in there, Romain.
I'm on the wrong org.
Thanks for the presentation. So if you have a connector to Salesforce, for example, and they update their schema, how does the connector maintain the data types with the schema in Salesforce, for example?
Yeah. So right now it is manual. So we have observability, which you can link to some kind of alerting to tell you that, hey, this action is consistently breaking. And then if that's the case, then you can run our agent to say, fix it. Like go look at the logs, fix the action. The StackOne CLI allows you to retrieve the logs, but also retrieve credentials for like sandbox accounts. So your agent can actually go and query the updated schemas and update the action that way. That's the main way. And then what we're launching is auto self-healing. So then our agent could be run in the background with our own. Basically, we're building our own harness in the background that can build the PR for you. And then you would review the PR before actually merging. And all the connectors are versioned, like you can see here. I actually found why I couldn't show it to you is because I was on the wrong project, but it is here. The action has been pushed here, and it is available. But yeah, that's how we kind of maintain the schemas and the mappings.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Romain.
Awesome. Thank you.